Spine-chilling alert. Haunted secrets of Daggerlin exposed run. Only 72 hours left to escape. In the quiet suburb of Daggerlin, the facade of innocence was a cover for something darker. Each night, Lisa would lock the door behind her with trembling hands, a sense of dread curling in her gut. Shadows lurked outside her window, whispering secrets that chilled her to the bone. The laughter of her kids, Mia and Jake, once a source of comfort, now echoed through the house like a warning bell. There was a strange tension in the air, the kind that made people look over their shoulders. Her phone buzzed, drawing her back into the present. A cryptic message had arrived. "I see you, Lisa." At first, she brushed it off as a prank, a late-night joke from one of her work friends at the diner. But as she read it again, a shiver crawled up her spine. Days blurred together, becoming nightmares disguised as reality. Neighbors lingered too long outside her porch. She could feel their eyes, cold and calculating. Flickers of movement haunted her peripheral vision, shadows that shouldn't have been there. Then came the power outage, plunging her home into oppressive darkness like some ominous omen. Panic gripped her heart as the silence wrapped around her like a suffocating shroud. She felt the pressure to keep her children safe build inside her. Every absence of light made her feel they could slip away into the unknown. Then it happened. In the dead of night, under the pale glow of the moon, she saw him. Mr. Thompson, the well-respected schoolteacher, whose footsteps usually echoed confidently, now paced across the street, his movements frantic. His eyes darted and flooded with something she couldn't place. Fear, worry, felt wrong. Lisa's instincts ignited. She slipped on her shoes as her heart raced. What was he searching for? Or who? Before we continue, I need to tell you something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to their system, and many people are missing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and select all notifications so you don't miss future videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. With restless courage, Lisa crept toward the abandoned community center, a relic of better days, now cloaked in obscurity and rumor. She nearly vomited at the thought. Whispers of a malevolent creature that preyed on Daggerlin's deepest secrets clawed at her mind. Children had gone missing around these shadows. One moment, she'd lean in to listen. The next, she'd find herself stumbling back, heart pounding, skin prickling with unease as she recalled the stories, the warnings. The clock ticked louder, each second a countdown to dread. Mia and Jake played unsuspectingly in their room, unaware. But Lisa couldn't shake the feeling that they weren't safe. The facade of her friendly neighbors began to crumble. Their smiles now felt sinister, eyes narrowed like animals ready to pounce. She had to know, she had to face the dark truths buried within Daggerlin before it was too late. Suddenly, her phone buzzed again. "You should have run while you could, Lisa." Only 24 hours left. The words sent a jolt through her. The ground felt like it was crumbling beneath her. It wasn't just her family in danger. Daggerlin itself teetered on the brink of horrors waiting to awaken. Every time she thought she had the worst figured out, the darkness only deepened. Who could she trust now? As she grasped the doorknob of the community center, she knew she was at the edge of something terrible, something she couldn't escape. Would she uncover Daggerlin's secrets and save her family? Or would she, like so many before, vanish into the chilling folklore, never to be seen again? The door creaked, a sound that echoed around the empty lot. Lisa hesitated, heart thumping like a war drum in her chest. Could she really step into the remnants of dread and despair? She gripped the doorknob tighter, feeling the cold metal bite into her palm. Behind her, the soft murmur of laughter floated up the stairs. Mia and Jake were oblivious to the storm brewing just outside. With a deep breath, she pushed the door open. The musty air hit her like a wall, thick with neglect. Flashlight in hand, she ventured into the darkness. The beams sliced through the gloom, brushing against cracked walls that whispered of stories untold. Dust motes danced, caught in the light like fragments of forgotten memories as she advanced deeper into the building. Her instincts screamed at her to turn back. The shadows clung to her like a shroud. A fluttering noise above her made her jump. A rat? Or something worse? Every nerve in her body was on high alert, teeth clenched, muscles tense. There were rumors. Dark rumors that old men spoke of drunken nights on the porch. Children playing games that ended too abruptly. Siblings going home without their siblings. Laughter turning to screams. Hadn't Mr. Thompson's wild-eyed glimpse sent a shiver down her spine? What was he searching for? Surely he knew more than he let on. She felt a presence as if the community center was alive, watching her every move, breathing in her fear. A sudden crash echoed from the back room, and she froze. Heart pounding, she crept forward, each step cautious. The noise had settled and eerie silence fell. Lisa's breath quickened, mingling with her pulse that echoed in her ears. Another creak, this one closer. She strained to see through the darkness, the flashlight flickering. Was it just the old wiring? Or was something lurking in the shadows? The fear coiled tighter, fingers squeezing her throat. Just then, her phone vibrated in her pocket, sending a jolt through her. The screen flickered to life, illuminating the darkness for a split second. "You shouldn't be here," it read. The message made her heart skip. Was it a warning? Who was watching her now? Then she heard it, the unmistakable sound of soft weeping. It drifted through the distorting walls, haunting her soul. She followed the sound, like a moth drawn to a flame. What if it was a child? A lost child, like so many believed missing in Daggerlin? The weeping grew louder as she neared a door at the end of the hall, concealed under a thick layer of dust. Her hand trembled as she reached for the knob. Felt warm as if recently touched. She paused, uncertainty flooding her mind. "Please, help me," a fragile voice, a childish voice. She swallowed hard, torn between fear and an overwhelming need to save whoever was in there. The burden of her family's safety hung heavy on her shoulders. She pushed through the door, ready to face whatever terror awaited. There, in the dim light, shadows twisted and warped, revealing a shape on the floor. Was it a child? Suddenly, the whispers grew, an electric pulse charging the air. "They're watching," the voice begged again, sending ice through her veins. In that moment, Lisa realized she wasn't alone. The shadows weren't just darkness. They were eyes. She had crossed the threshold into a world of secrets and deceit, where nothing was as it seemed. Then, without warning, the door slammed shut behind her. The darkness pressed in, and the whispers transformed into frantic cries. What had she awakened? The clock was ticking. 24 hours was hardly enough time to unravel this nightmarish web. With the children's laughter echoing in her mind and terror fast approaching, she needed to move fast. Was Daggerlin ready to unleash its secrets? Would she uncover the truth? Or get lost forever? The air felt thick around Lisa, a suffocating blanket that pressed down on her chest like a weight. The door had sealed off more than just an exit. It locked her away from reason, submerging her in dread. The chilling scent of decay enveloped her, mingling with something metallic. Panic swept through her veins, but the pleading voice cut through the fog like a knife. "Please help me." The figure on the floor began to take shape. It wasn't a child, not fully. Shadows swirled around it, distorting the view, morphing it into a grotesque image of what once was. A young girl lay there, hair matted, clothes torn. She was contorted awkwardly, as if she had sought escape but had been held down by unseen hands. "What happened to you?" Lisa whispered, her breath hitching as she took a cautious step forward. She squinted, trying to hold the beam steady. "Help me before they find me," the girl whimpered, eyes wide and pleading. But the shadows stretched unnaturally, snaking toward Lisa, reaching out with bony fingers. Lisa stepped back, her instincts screaming for her to run. "Who's watching? Who's after you?" Panic knotted in her stomach. As she rocked back on her heels, the reality of her situation hit her hard. This wasn't a mere rescue. It was a gamble with her soul. "Time is short," the girl cried, her voice cracking, drifting off into incoherent whimpers before turning to shrieks that clawed at Lisa's mind. The shadows morphed violently, creating a grotesque cacophony that filled the room. Lisa's heart raced. Suddenly, the walls began to close in, pressing against her like the grip of a vice. Shadows writhed around her, taunting her with their whispers. "You shouldn't be here, Lisa. This place doesn't want you to leave." The flashlight flickered repeatedly, an unreliable beacon in an ocean of darkness. Just as she thought it would fail her completely, the beam steadied on the girl's face. What she saw blurred the line between reality and nightmare. There was knowledge etched in those eyes, horrors yet unspoken. "They took others? And they'll take you too." "No, I won't let that happen." Frantically, Lisa turned around, desperately searching for any means of escape. The shadows surged, bubbling with malicious energy. Her pulse thrummed in her ears, drowning out the girl's frantic pleas as dread cascaded over her. Suddenly, she glimpsed a crack in the wall, a narrow crevice, light seeping through. Hope ignited within her, but it flickered like the dying flashlight. "I have to get out of here." The weeping turned to an angry wail, raw and visceral, ripping through her resolve. The ground beneath Lisa's feet twisted and heaved as if the very building itself was alive, trying to swallow her whole. It felt personal, like the building was deciding her fate. "Help me. You can't leave me." The girl's voice cut through her thoughts, and in that instant, time snapped. A shadow lunged for her, its clawed hand now outstretched, fingers curling ominously. With every ounce of strength, Lisa dashed towards the wall. She thrust herself into the crack, the jagged edge tearing at her clothes. The shadows clawed at her heels, but she didn't look back. Desperation fueled her. "Don't leave me," echoed in her mind as she propelled herself through the crevice, tumbling into the blinding light. But as she stumbled forward, her heart still racing, she found herself not outside but in another dim room, one eerily similar to the last. The door slammed shut behind her again. This time it was solid, unyielding. "Welcome back, Lisa," a voice echoed around her, familiar yet indistinct, and chilling. "We've been waiting for you." What had she stepped into now? What waited behind the veil of darkness in this new chamber? Lisa's heart sank like a stone. The air in this new room hummed with anticipation. It felt suffocating, as if the walls themselves were alive, pulsating in sync with her thudding heart. She looked around frantically, desperate to discern the source of the voice. "Who are you? What do you want from me?" Her voice trembled. "Isn't it obvious?" The voice slithered through the shadows, wrapping around her like a predator stalking its prey. It echoed from everywhere, making her skin crawl. "We want you to stay forever." She stepped back, but that familiar stench of decay crept closer. The walls loomed forward, squeezing her into a corner. Frantically, Lisa searched for an escape, but every direction felt like a trap meant to ensnare her. "Others have come before you," the voice taunted. "They all had choices. All made mistakes." "Choices?" Lisa scoffed, her mind racing. "You think I chose to be here? I'll find a way out." Laughter rolled through the room, chilling her to the bone. "Oh, Lisa, do you not see? You already made your choice the moment you stepped inside. The darkness never lets go." She spun around, looking for any sign of a door, but the shadows felt thicker this time. They wrapped around her, whispering promises of despair and threats laced with temptation. "Help the girl or she suffers," they hissed. "Help yourself or you will die." Images flashed in her mind, the girl tangled in the shadows, begging, pleading, those haunting, sorrowful eyes. Lisa shook her head to clear the fog, focusing on survival. "Get away from me," she screamed, flailing against the pressing darkness. She plunged her hands into the shadows, trying to push them away. The ground shuddered beneath her, and the shadows retaliated, slacking off momentarily only to lash out again. It was relentless, a living storm of despair swirling around her. The grim laughter receded slightly, replaced by a quieter, more sinister tone. "You can save her, Lisa. Just give in and we will spare you." "Spare me?" she echoed incredulously. "You think I'll trade my freedom for someone else's life?" Freedom? There is no freedom here, only the illusion of choice. Join us and she will live, and you will never leave. No, no, Lisa shouted defiantly, feeling the rush of adrenaline course through her. She charged blindly forward, hoping for anything resembling an exit. Her fingers grazed against a cool surface, and she turned to see a door, a cracked opening shimmering faintly with light. The whispers grew frantic, shrieking in panic as she sobbed and pushed against the door. No, you can go. You have to help her. The shadows lunged, clawing wildly, attempting to drag her back into the abyss. But she shoved against the door with every ounce of strength. An ear-splitting screech filled the air as it creaked open just wide enough for her to squeeze through. The shadows shrieked in fury, their grip loosening. She stumbled onto the other side, but before she could process her surroundings, the door slammed shut behind her. She was now in another dimly lit passage, the air even colder. Panic rose again like bile as she spun, looking for a clue, anything that would tell her where to go next or what had just happened. A soft shimmer caught her eye. A secluded alcove glowed faintly ahead. It beckoned her, an echo of hope amid the despair. As she stepped closer, she heard it again, the girl's voice, feeble and distant. Lisa, please, help me. But the shadows lingered just out of sight, threatening and alive, whispering secrets she couldn't understand. What awaited her inside that glowing alcove? Would she find a way to save them both or condemn herself to an eternity of darkness? The alcove pulsed softly, a whisper of warmth in the frigid air. Lisa hesitated, her heart racing like a movie dialed to fast forward. What lay beyond that faint glow? Answers? Danger? Or perhaps some twisted blend of both? Lisa, please, the girl's voice broke through her uncertainty, dragging her forward. As she stepped into the warm light, the shadows recoiled, hissing like a scalded animal. She looked around, trying to drink in the details. A strange, framed mirror hanging from the wall, draped with cobwebs. A small table with odd trinkets, their purpose unclear. And in the center, a shimmering pool that seemed to ripple with her every thought. Look closer. A chorus of voices beckoned, layered atop one another, growing louder and more insistent as if the entire room was alive with anticipation. Tentatively, Lisa approached the pool. Its surface glimmered like shattered glass. See her. Save her. The whispers urged, each word a silken thread pulling her deeper into the vision. Peering into the water, her heart sank. It wasn't just a reflection. It showed the girl, tangled and trapped in writhing shadows similar to those she had escaped. Panic threatened to drown Lisa. What do you want from me? She called out, her voice quavering. The pool shimmered and shifted, revealing other faces screaming, crying, desperate faces belonging to those who had once stood where she was now. Help her, and all will be well, the voices promised, the menacing undertones still lurking. Or forsake your own lifeline. Their claims sent chills racing up her spine. I can't. I don't know how to save her. Just sacrifice a drop of yourself. A rush of adrenaline surged through her. Could they mean blood? Fear mixed with defiance lodged in her throat. She would never give in to their demands. But what if they were right? What if this girl's fate was tied to hers? Without warning, the shadows flickered, wild and angry. Tread carefully, they hissed, as if sensing her hesitation. One wrong move and you'll join them forever. Her hands shook uncontrollably as her mind raced. She felt the pull of the girl's eyes, heard her cries echoing in desperation. The cold grip of dread tightened around her heart. Do you want to stay in darkness? The shadows taunted, their voices curling around her like vines, squeezing tighter with each heartbeat. What if you fail? Lisa swallowed back her apprehension, steeling herself. No, I won't let fear decide for me. Summoning all her strength, she dipped her finger into the shimmering pool. The surface trembled beneath her touch, almost electric. Suddenly, the image of the girl changed. She was screaming, her mouth moving but no sound escaping. Desperation etched across her face, liquefying Lisa's resolve. Forgive me, she yelled, pulling her finger back, heart racing, feeling the pulse of darkness encroaching over her like a wave. She had to act fast, Each second lost was another second by which they could have her. Lisa, the girl cried out, her voice breaking through the cacophony of whispers that swallowed Lisa whole. You have to believe. You are stronger than this. In that moment, something flickered within Lisa, a spark of hope. But could she trust her instincts? Suddenly, the alcove trembled, walls shifting like a live thing. Choose, the whispers shrieked, urgency dripping from the words. The girl's pleading eyes pulled at Lisa's heart, forcing her to confront her own deep-seated fears. Could she find the courage to save a stranger, facing whatever hell awaited on the other side? As the shadows clawed at her, chaos enveloping the alcove, Lisa realized she had only moments left. Would she plunge deeper into that shimmering pool and confront the unknown, risking all that was left of her spirit? Or would she turn back, sealing her fate in this cursed place, never to know freedom? Something dark and malevolent lingered like smoke, ready to consume her if she hesitated too long. What was the price of salvation? And would she discover the truth before it was too late? In a heartbeat, Lisa made her choice. She thrust her finger back into the rippling pool. The cold shock sent electric currents through her. The image transformed again, the girl's screams now mingling with Lisa's own dread. She felt the icy grip of despair clutch at her throat. Help me, the girl pleaded, reaching out as if her fingers could bridge the chasm separating them. Lisa's vision blazed with fear, yet her determination clenched tighter. I'm coming. It tore from Lisa's lips, a promise and a plea, echoing through the darkened alcove. The pool shimmered and expanded, swirling patterns creating a vortex of colors. Shadows twisted around her, threatening to drag her back into the darkness. The walls pulsated, as if the whole room was alive, hungering for her fear. Your sacrifice a drop of blood, the voices wailed. No, Lisa shouted, though her heart raced at the thought. Would her sacrifice bring salvation? Was she willing to spill the last remnants of her essence to save a stranger? The weight of her choice pressed down. The whispering shadows were relentless, clawing at her resolve. Do it, they hissed. Only then will the girl be free. With a deep breath, she pressed her other hand against her palm, the thin skin yielding with a painful sting. Blood welled up, a bright drop against her pale skin. She hesitated, the thick tension drawing tight in her chest. Trust yourself, the girl urged. You are the key. Lisa's pulse quickened, pounding like a war drum. In that split second, she dipped her bleeding finger into the pool. The water absorbed it greedily, turning dark as the shadows roared in delight. Yes, they cried, the room vibrating with their chaotic energy. Now turn back. Accept your place among us. The whirlpool surged, pulling strength from her very being. Lisa staggered, teetering on the brink of despair, but something fierce ignited within her. I refuse. I want to be another lost soul. The pool exploded in a burst of incandescent light. The air crackled with energy, shadows recoiling in panic. The girl appeared now fully, her ethereal form rising out of the water, powerful against the shrieking darkness. Hold on, Lisa shouted, extending her hand toward the girl. I will pull you out. But the shadows lashed out, furious at their queen being rescued. Dark tendrils lashed at Lisa, scalding her skin as she fought against the grip of despair. Each second stretched, the air thickening as danger slithered closer. Join us, the shadows howled. You cannot escape your fate. Lisa gritted her teeth, gripping the girl's hand even tighter as the darkness conspired against them. You're not taking her. With a fierce roar, the girl's eyes flared with fierce energy. Together, we are stronger than this. As they braced against the shadows, Lisa felt a rush of warmth enveloping them both. The room shivered, walls shaking like they were about to crumble, the malevolence moving wildly as if stung. Fight! Lisa, push them back, the girl urged, determination igniting the air. Their combined strength surged like a firestorm, countering the oppressive darkness. Shadows writhed, twisting in desperate attempts to reclaim their hold. But Lisa could sense a shift. They were weakening. Now, the girl commanded, and Lisa felt her heart synchronize with the girl's fierce spirit. They unleashed a wave of light, radiating from their joined hands. The walls screamed, the shadows howled, and for a split second, all was still, then silence. Lisa gasped as the air became bright. The shadows evaporated into wisps of smoke. Had they done it? But as calm settled like a blanket, an ominous rumble filled the alcove. The very ground beneath her trembled, a warning lurking in the depths. "What's happening?" Lisa shouted, her voice almost drowning in the resonance. The girl's features turned deadly pale. "We did not consider the consequences. The darkness will retaliate." Panic flooded Lisa's system. She had saved the girl, but what was the cost? The ground split beneath them, a yawning chasm gaping wide, darkness rising like a tide. Lisa felt herself losing grip on reality, on sanity. "Hold on," the girl cried, but the pull of the pitch-black abyss was insatiable, dragging everything into its depths. "What do we do?" Lisa screamed, adrenaline coursing through her veins. Suddenly, the alcove roared with an inhuman growl. "Embrace the true sacrifice." The shadows commanded once more, their voices intertwining in a sinister harmony. A chilling question settled in Lisa's mind. What would it take to escape this nightmare? The answer lingered just out of reach, an elusive whisper amidst the chaos. And as the shadows closed in, she realized they were only just beginning to pay the price. The chasm yawned wide, a ravenous mouth eager to swallow them whole. Lisa's heart thudded in her chest, pounding furiously against an unrelenting dread. She pulled the girl closer as darkness bubbled around them, a thick blanket of despair tightening its grip. "Stay with me," Lisa shouted, fighting against the disorienting pull. She could feel something sharp and cold creeping at the edges of her mind, whispering venomous doubts. Each pulse of the darkness seemed to echo her fears, flooding her spirit with icy tentacles of panic. "We can survive this." But the girl's expression had shifted from defiance to sheer terror. "We need to escape. Now." Her voice was edged with urgency, the fear in her eyes piercing through the overwhelming darkness. Before Lisa could respond, the shadows churned violently, rising like a tidal wave eager to crash down. The screams of lost souls reverberated through the air, chilling her bones as the malevolent voices howled. "You think you are special? You are but a fleeting moment." A spark extinguished. With that, the mist thickened, cocooning them in fog and despair. Lisa had to act fast. She racked her mind for any glimmer of hope. "Focus," she yelled. "Remember the light. We can summon it again." The girl's eyes flickered with fading confidence. But what if it's not enough? The darkness swirled dangerously close, tendrils stretching outward, trying to find purchase on their trembling forms. Lisa gritted her teeth. The thought of failing now ignited a flame deep within her. "Then we'll make it enough." She called upon every ounce of belief within her. "We have each other. Together we can defeat them." The girl squeezed Lisa's hand as if drawing strength from her. A flicker of determination sparked back in her eyes. "Let us do this." Drawing in a breath, they pooled their resolve. Lisa could feel the electric charge building around them, a force of energy that could set the very air ablaze. On three, 1, 2, 3, with a fierce cry, they thrust their spirits upward. A radiant burst of light ignited, blinding and pure, banishing the shadows momentarily. Lisa could feel the darkness screeching, a creature wounded and angry. But this time it was different. The light wasn't just a defense. It was a declaration. "We are here." They roared together, their voices resonating through the void. The shadows recoiled, snapping back like a snake struck. But Lisa could sense their desperation. They were desperate to reclaim their territory. "Not enough," a ghastly voice hissed. "You will succumb. The abyss is your true home." Outrage surged within Lisa. "Not while I breathe. I will not become another sacrifice." She intensified her focus, raising her hand higher as an orb of light radiated from her palm, growing blindingly bright. Suddenly, the ground beneath her began to quake violently. "It's shaking," the girl gasped, panic creeping into her voice again. Stay with it, Lisa shouted, maintaining her blast of light, feeling the warmth radiate even as the shadows clutched at her ankles like desperate hands. But the darkness was tasting victory. The chasm widened further, threatening to swallow them. The very walls of the alcove thudded, echoing the intensity of the shadows' wrath. Feed on their fear, they screamed, swirling around them in a cacophony of madness. Not anymore, Lisa shouted resolutely, channeling a vivid memory of hope, the sun rising, warm laughter, the joys of life uncut by darkness. She fueled her light with it, and it surged brighter, forcing the shadows to writhe in turmoil. Yet, just as the shadows began to melt away, a shadow loomed larger than the rest, rising ominously from the depths. This one was different. It pulsed with a life of its own, cloaked in sinister intent and ancient power. "You shall pay," it roared, its voice rumbling like thunder. "The price has not yet been exacted." Lisa felt her heart drop as the realization hit her. The true cost was yet to come. "Now!" the girl screamed. Terror consumed her voice. "We must act before it's too late." But as Lisa turned her head, horrified, she realized not everything was still on their side. The darkness smiled back. "Prepare for the ultimate sacrifice." The last words echoed ominously in the air, lingering like a haunting refrain. What had they awakened? What price would they have to pay? The answers loomed just ahead, more terrifying than the shadows themselves. The ground shook violently beneath them, splitting the air with a sound like thunder. Lisa gripped the girl's hand tighter, her heart racing as the shadows continued to encroach, twisting and writhing like serpents hungry for blood. Each moment felt like an eternity, stretching out, creating a sense of vertigo that left her dizzy. "Stay focused," she shouted over the chaos. The cracks widened, and the dark whisperings from the abyss grew louder, mocking her. "You can't win. You don't know what you're dealing with." Lisa's mind raced, searching for a plan. The light had worked before, but could it work again? Could it fend off something so colossal? Her breath came in ragged gasps, desperation clawing at her throat. "We can do this. Together." The girl nodded, though her eyes were wide with fright. They shared a single moment, a fleeting connection of hope buried under the encroaching despair. But even that was fleeting, as the shadows hissed, sneering at their momentary resolve. "You think unity will save you?" A dark pulse shot from the creature, a vast, monstrous shape now fully revealed at the edge of the chasm. A swirling mass of darkness, flickering like a dying flame, yet alive with malice and intent. It reached out with elongated tendrils, grasping at the very light they had summoned. "Now!" Lisa yelled, desperation flooding her voice. They summoned their energy, pushing the light forward with every ounce of willpower they could muster. The orb flared bright, pushing against the encroaching darkness as if it were a shield. Yet, the shadows were relentless, pulling closer, suffocating. That it felt as if the darkness were forming a noose, tightening around them. The chill of its breath seeped into their skin, threatening to extinguish their light for good. "Sacrifice must happen," it roared, its voice rumbling like distant thunder. "One of you must join us." Lisa's stomach dropped at the implication. "No," she gasped, her heart sinking at the horror of a decision they might have to make. "We're not giving in." "Listen to the shadows," hissed the dark mass. "They know the truth. You want to live, do you not?" The girl trembled beside Lisa, glancing nervously between their light and the shadow's terrible promise. "At what cost?" she whispered hoarsely, doubt gnawing at her resolve. "Do not listen," Lisa urged. "They want to divide us. Remember your strength, your reason to fight." Yet even as she spoke, doubt gnawed at the edges of her mind. The voices within the dark chasm grew chaotic, rising in shrieks, drowning her own thoughts. "Only one can escape," she shrieked, tauntingly. "The other will succumb to despair." "Stop it," Lisa screamed, rage surging through her. She would not let darkness sway them. Focus on the light. They needed to believe. They needed to trust one another. With a fierce intensity, fueled by memories of laughter, warmth, and joy, They channeled their fear into their light, flooding the space around them with a brilliant glow. But the darkness only cringed momentarily, readying itself for another strike. "What is the cost of survival?" The dark mass sneered. Its voice hung in the air, heavy with a promise of dread. "One of you must become my vessel to survive. One must fall so the other can ascend." "No." The girl's voice cracked, desperation spilling into her words. "There has to be another way." But as the shadows pressed on, the weight of their situation bore down, filling the chasm with an unbearable tension. They were trapped in a battle they didn't choose. Something shifted. The shadows began to reshape, morphing into twisted faces, distorted features of the lost. "Join us," they whispered, a terrifying lullaby that sent shivers down Lisa's spine. What if the girl started, horror creeping into her voice? What if it's the only way? "No, we're not giving up," Lisa shouted, but the question hung thick in the air, a chilling doubt that threatened to change everything. The chasm roared in response, a crescendo of darkness that vibrated through their bones. And suddenly, the decision felt nearer, the scythe of fate hovering just above them, eager to fall. The light flickered, faltering as the shadows laughed, twirling around them in a sinister dance. "What will you choose?" The echoes of that question lingered, growing louder until it became deafening. Time went still for just a heartbeat, the world narrowing down to a single moment filled with terror. "Choose wisely," whispered the darkness, a final enticement dangling in front of them. But as they stood there, hearts racing, surrounded by chaos, a shocking thought seized Lisa. What if survival meant losing what was most important after all? And with that realization came a chilling weight. The ultimate sacrifice lay at their feet, waiting, tempting, and terrifying. The time to decide was approaching, and they were running out of it. Lisa's breath hitched in her throat, a cold sweat trickling down her spine. The shadows tightened their grip, their whispers merging into a cacophony of despair. Her resolve trembled like a candle flickering in a storm. "Listen," she said, her voice breaking, "we can't let them win. We can't, Lisa." The girl's plea cut through the noise. "What if?" Her eyes betrayed thoughts of surrender, glimmering with that terrible question. "What if it is the only way?" "No," Lisa snapped, feeling rage bubble up. "No one is becoming a vessel for them. Fight it. Fight it all." The shadows responded with a chilling laughter that echoed through the chasm. They seemed to swell closer, and the darkness shimmered with hunger, eager to claim what was rightfully theirs. Lisa felt the oppressive weight of their malice bearing down, threatening to crush her spirit. The very air seemed thick, suffocating, as if the universe itself conspired against them. "Choose within the next moment. If you don't, I'll choose for you," hissed the dark mass, its voice dripping with sinister glee. Lisa looked into the girl's eyes, searching for assurance. But all she saw was dread. Every heartbeat sounded like a warning, a countdown to a desperate decision. "We're not alone," she reminded, her voice steadier now, grounding herself in their shared struggle. "The flicker of our light can hold back the darkness. We have to believe in that." But the shadows pushed back, a wave of despair sweeping over them like a black tide. Eyes appeared, momentarily glowing before being swallowed again by the void. Faces twisted in anguish, mourning lost hopes and dreams, swarmed around them, an army of every fear they had ever faced. "It doesn't have to end this way," the girl cried, her voice trembling. "We can join them, stay alive." The very idea sent icy fingers crawling up Lisa's spine. A knot twisted in her stomach. "It's a lie," she shouted, but panic churned within her as darkness wrapped around them. The encompassing dread was hard to resist. Was there really no other way? The girl hesitated, the flicker of doubt spreading like wildfire. "But I don't want to lose you." "Then don't." The resolve in Lisa's voice cut through the madness. "We're not giving in to them. Together, or sacrifice." The shadows slithered, a new wave of temptation coursing through the chasm, seeking to fracture their bond further. They were cruel and relentless, their whispers thick with malice. "Only one can truly escape." "No," Lisa screamed, her pulse racing. You want to divide us, but we refuse to let you. The light will prevail. With renewed determination, Lisa held tightly to the girl's hand. She felt the warmth of their joined energy surging, illuminating their surroundings. Let us do this, she urged. With hope, with trust, we can push them back. But before they could gather strength, an intense cold cut through them. The dark mass spiraled closer, tendrils wrapping around their light, snuffing out the brilliance. The shadows recoiled with a growl, threatening to crush them beneath a mountain of despair. Suddenly, the ground shook violently again, but this time, it felt different. Cracks opened beneath them, revealing a swirling emptiness that beckoned them deeper into the abyss. Lisa gasped, understanding the stakes had just heightened. Choose! Choose! The shadows roared, shrieking like banshees, reverberating around her ears. Stay strong, Lisa urged as the girl's grip slackened. Stay with me. But deep inside, doubt slinked through her heart, whispering vile thoughts. What if the shadows were right? Lisa! The girl faltered, lost in fear. No! Lisa yelled, drawing upon every ounce of strength. We won't let fear win. As she struggled to maintain their light, the ground continued to tremble, threatening to swallow them whole. Filled with dread and uncertainty, the shadows surged again, seductive in their promises. And just like that, the girl's gaze fixed on the swirling darkness, her expression shifting to something vulnerable, caught between hope and surrender. Join us, the darkness murmured, echoing her unspoken fears. Lisa felt the agony of time running and hearts colliding in the face of an unthinkable decision. The abysses beckoned, shadows shifting like the edge of sanity. What if the girl chose to join them instead? And in that moment, a dread reality loomed over them, a terrifying question hung heavily in the air, waiting, taunting. Would they choose survival at any cost? Suddenly, another tremor rolled through the ground, shaking their resolve as the darkness tightened its grip. Would they stand together, or would the shadows claim them forever? The chasm heaved ominously, its dark depths yawning wider, as if it could swallow not just them, but their very souls. Lisa's heart hammered wildly, fear clawing at her insides. The echoes of the past rumbled in her mind, the laughter of her children, the warmth of home, every fleeting moment of happiness. These memories ignited a fierce determination in her. Do you remember what we're fighting for? Lisa shouted, holding onto the flickering light between them. Your life matters. My life matters. We won't let them take us. But shadows pressed in closer, their whispers wrapping around her like vines. You can save her, you can save yourself. No, Lisa cried, her voice breaking the suffocating atmosphere. We will not give in. Suddenly, the girl's hand trembled in hers. But what if they're right? What if stop? Lisa yelled, desperation seeping into her tone. Remember the light. Remember the choice we made to fight together. We won't become a part of their darkness. The girl swallowed hard, emotions swirling like a storm within her. I don't want to lose you. I don't want to end up like them. Then don't let fear dictate your fate, Lisa urged. She tightened her grip, feeling the warmth radiate between them. We face them together. We share our strength. For a moment, the girl hesitated. The shadows sneered, sensing their wavering resolve. Look how easy it would be, just one of you can stay. You can escape. You only need to sacrifice the other. Lisa felt the pressure of time squeezing around them, the darkness coiling tighter, but with every fiber of her being, she pushed back against the despair. Do not let go. We have come too far. If we split, we'll be lost. The girl interjected, eyes wide with understanding. Exactly. Lisa's voice surged with fierce urgency. We are stronger together. And in that moment, something clicked inside the girl. The flicker of hope returned to her eyes. The darkness roared, a monstrous beast enraged by their defiance. You will regret this choice. Never. Lisa screamed, channeling all her energy into one final surge of light. The glow that emerged crackled and pulsed with fierce brilliance, reminiscent of the sun breaking through dark clouds. Together, they shouted in unison, feeling the raw power coalesce between them. They pushed their light against the encroaching darkness with a force fueled by love, hope, and a desperate need to protect their lives and the memories waiting for them beyond this nightmarish abyss. The shadows screamed, recoiling from the bright energy sweeping through the chasm. No, no, they shrieked, losing their grip as Lisa and the girl held tighter. Then, with one last cry of determination, they thrust their hands upward. A blinding wave of light burst forth, enveloping everything, crashing against the furious darkness, transforming screams of despair into echoes of liberation. The shadows flailed, twisting and writhing, howling as they began to disintegrate, scattering like mist in the sunlight. "Hold on," Lisa shouted, clutching the girl's hand as the ground shook violently beneath them. There was no going back now. The chasm collapsed into itself, swallowing the malevolence whole. They were sent tumbling, but they braced for impact, and as the light enveloped them entirely, it felt like a warm embrace. Hope cascading around them like a waterfall, and just like that, they landed softly on grass beneath a radiant sky. Daggerlin looked different, bright, friendly, alive. The shadows were gone, leaving only the soft echo of distant laughter. "We did it," the girl gasped, disbelief dancing in her features. Lisa smiled, spiritual weight lifting off her shoulders. "We did. We survived." With tears of joy pooling in her eyes, the girl turned to Lisa. "But what about the others?" Lisa nodded solemnly, her heart heavy. "We will make sure they are remembered. We won't let their sacrifices be in vain." Suddenly, the sun gleamed bright, casting golden rays that filled them with warmth. Daggerlin was freed. Ghosts of the past laid to rest. They stood hand in hand, united, as they took a step forward, ready to embrace the world anew. Lisa glanced back at the silhouette of the community center, no longer shrouded in darkness but illuminated in love, and whispered, "Thank you for the lesson." Finally free, Lisa and the girl ventured into the light, knowing new beginnings awaited. They had conquered their fears, and together, they would continue to shine. Now it's your turn. You need to subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next mind-bending stories. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm, and flood the comments section with your reactions and theories. We want to know what you thought of this epic conclusion. Don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to experience this thrilling finale. Only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.